and now it's finally here. Links are in the pinned comment and description, head there after the video. So our story continues with Vegito in the midst of space, having just destroyed the planet he was on, along with God of Destruction Iwan, and two of the strongest 5 in the multiverse, Guts and Madara. But behind Vegito, it is of course revealed that he is far from alone, as yet another member of the 5 arrives and is right behind the God Killer, as Yamoshi, the 3rd of the 5 strongest, would just giggle. So this is the famous Saiyan fusion. The God Killer, as they say, huh? Well, I guess, after what I just witnessed, that can't be denied anymore. That was pretty heartless, don't you think, Vegito? While an annoyed and waning with patience Vegito would just respond, heartless? They had it coming and you know it. The real heartless decision here is approaching me now. I've just defeated the 2 members beneath you and a god. And this is the time you want to fight me in this condition? Hardly fair, don't you think? But Yamoshi would just nonchalantly reply, what? Is that supposed to be an excuse? Something impressive I'm supposed to take into account? Don't make me laugh, kid. I could have taken all 3 of those out without breaking a sweat. Immediately surprising Vegito as he begins to think if this stranger was bluffing or not. But Yamoshi, now with his arms folded, would not ease up and continue. You don't need to worry about this being fair, young Vegito. If anything, I'm the one here a little worse for wear. Just before I came down here, I was in the demon realm. You do know us gods have jobs to do, right? We have to keep the order of the universe in check, either dealing with monsters like you in the mortal realm, or disposing of the daily victims in the demon realm who think they can foolishly breach out into the land of the mortals and gods. I probably killed about 100 or so of them before even coming here. So consider us equal. But Vegito, who despite the claims is totally unimpressed, cracks his knuckles as he replies, listen, unless you're 100 times stronger than Guts and Madara combined, you can stop with the big talk, as I'm not interested. Saying you slaughtered a few demons is hardly an achievement to me. Didn't know already, I destroyed a so-called demon emperor in just one move not too long ago. Yes. But as Vegeta reveals this, Yamoshi's grin grows wider as he places one hand on his hips and clenches the other in front of him, letting out, yes, I did see that. But unfortunately for you, and your overinflated confidence, not all demons nor emperors are created equal. Whatever you took down was weak enough even Guts sealed it. And as for 100 times stronger, yeah, something like that. As suddenly out of nowhere, Yamoshi's eyes suddenly change from black to now yellow with a lone pupil. The mysteriously familiar eyes come with an ever-widening grin before. In a violent war that reminds us of only one species, Yamoshi powers up to what seems like his max power, as a white lightning bursts forth from his very paws and he stares directly into Vegito's eyes. But Vegito, seeming rather unbothered but smirking with his arms folded, would say, interesting, God. you're definitely stronger than the two before you. But far from giving me that same feeling of amazement Guts first gave me. This power is hardly anything to worry about. Allow me to show you true strength, my friend! As in an even more ferocious roar, Vegito screams out with his muscles positively bulging, surrounding himself in aura, and his signature black lightning matching perfectly with Yamoshi's white. Yes! Show me this power then, Saiyan! But totally eager regardless of the power unleashed by the Godkiller, Yamoshi, like a true warrior, would rush in instantly at Vegito. Surprising Vegito, who with his newfound strength expected more trepidation. But not wanting to miss out on the fun, Vegito rushes in too, with the pair meeting until... With a monumental crash, both of their fists would land on each other simultaneously, one covered in black lightning and the other in white. And in the aftermath of such a godly collision, the universe itself reacts in terror, as a shockwave travels through the reaches of space, shaking and damaging every planet around. And when we zoom in on an individual planet... Hey! What's going on here? Run! The very inhabitants of each planet fear for their lives too. And on feedback, both fighters are then sent backwards through space, eventually regaining themselves as Vegito starts... Well. Perhaps you won't be as disappointing as first thought. I'd say our power levels seem almost even like this. Haha! While Yamoshi, smiling in response, would say back, Oh really? What an astute observation. I guess we are somewhat the same for now. For now? Ooh, how ominous. You're getting my Saiyan blood fired up now, you know. To which Yamoshi, now with his teeth bared in a big grin, says strangely, Haha, mine too. But regardless of the big clue Yamoshi had just given Vegito, the Godkiller just excitedly rushes into battle once more, and Yamoshi, in tandem, does exactly the same. The two once again clashing equally. This time, their forearms mashed against each other as both yell to the heavens, trying to push against each other in vain. And eventually, within nanoseconds, the clash descends into a barrage of trading attacks, both landing and both defending against each other, without a hint of either side gaining an advantage. And with the whole of the universe for their fight to take place, every inch of the expanse is met with clashes as the two then fight hand to hand all over. Eventually landing punches on each other at the same time for devastating effect. And clashing legs for a bone-shattering crunch as both wince in pain. And with blood on his mouth and bruise all over, for a brief moment, mid-battle, Vegeta would comment, Amazing! This is a true battle! No swords, just blood, sweat and fists! I haven't had this much fun in a while! Well done, Yamoshi! While a giggling back third would humor back, Well, thanks for the compliment, Godkiller. Always nice to know your would-be murderer is enjoying himself as he tries. before, with that being said, suddenly Vegeta would then jump back to gain some distance. Huh? Much to the surprise of Yamoshi, who would continue, "What now? I thought you were enjoying our little dance, Saiyan. Don't tell me you aren't ready for round 2. And for a brief moment, electricity begins to build up once again over the leg and body of Vegito, and then similarly over Yamoshi too. Right! I've gauged your fighting ability long enough now! Show me how you deal with this, God! Before in a sudden twist, Vegeta would begin placing his hands together as a shining ball of energy is created out of thin air before... Equal this, fool! Blasting it instantly at full power and at short distance from the palm of his hands. Oh, Vegeta, you truly underestimate me. But in response, in one of the most unbothered stances imaginable, Yamoshi, even in that instant, would close his eyes and just play with the top of his head. If witnessing my true energy is what you desire, then I'll send you to hell with just my fingers! Final! As Yamoshi then in return claps his hands together, interlocking them with 2 fingers pointed towards the impending Kamehameha wave coming towards him before yelling, "Ray!" With his eyes flashing yellow and veins beginning to pulsate through his forehead, Yamoshi would fire off his own blast at the very last second. Just like that, in a truly divine display of unfathomable power, Yamoshi and Vegito then begin to appear like mere microbes in comparison to the huge masses of energy they both let out at each other. As Vegito, smiling from end to end, enjoying himself, would yell, "Amazing! Whatever that weird technique of yours is, it's actually keeping up! I'm gonna enjoy learning that once I take your energy!" While the equally smiling Yamoshi claps back, "Be my guest, God Killer, but first, just try and beat me back!" As the two then continue to push forward with full power, but closing an eye each as they push themselves to the very limit, before finally they both have the exact same idea and yell out, "Enough of this! Die!" And just like that, in a humongous explosion that surely sends every planet in the vicinity shooting up from their orbit, and a light so bright the still battle-thrilled faces of Vegito and Yamoshi are lost in it too. But eventually, as the smoke clears, Yamoshi at least is seen still standing, his body a mess and his armor covered in debris and damage, as with a still cheeky smile covering his face and one eye open, he comments, My, you surprise me. To think a Saiyan of your generation would come this far in so little time. I could have used a training partner like you back in the old days." But finally, Vegito too appears from the explosion. He too injured, but he too with nothing short of an enthusiastic smirk, as he replies, "My generation? Why must you gods always act like such old-timers? You look younger than me!" Huh? Before instantly, Vegito vanishes before the eyes of Yamoshi, leaving only the last bits of smoke from the explosion behind. Surprise! instantly reappearing right in front of Yamoshi, slamming a rising kick right onto the chin of the completely taken off guard third. Damn it! Sending the momentarily disengaged Yamoshi flying into the midst of space before... It's time! I got you out of here! As the God Killer, watching from afar, places his right hand out, ready to do something, but it doesn't look like just any ordinary Kibi. What? And shockingly, instead of firing off at Yamoshi, behind the third, a time portal inexplicably opens instead. No! What are you doing? Which the still flying back uncontrollably Yamoshi is then quickly drawn into. Eventually leaving Vegito, now all alone in the current timeline, as he lets out, "This should be fun." While meanwhile, the foot of Yamoshi, having left the time portal, then steps lightly onto a familiar looking tiled floor. But once we finally see where Yamoshi had ended up, it's more shocking than ever anticipated, as a young Goku and Piccolo clash in the finals of the World Martial Arts Tournament, right in front of a bemused Yamoshi who comments, "What? Isn't that... Who's that?" But of course, Yamoshi is the least of the confused beings there, as both the young Piccolo and Goku react in total bamboozlement as Goku comments, "Wait, his energy! Can you sense that?" While Piccolo remains astonished, muttering, "Ugh." But now becoming angered over all the mortal civilians reacting to him and the sudden placement in another timeline, Yamoshi would begin thinking, "That idiot! He used the time rings he stole to do this to me, didn't he? What does he expect? That I'll just be stuck here forever? Coward. Like that would even work." But as Yamoshi looks around pondering, the flustered Goku immediately looks to his once enemy Piccolo and says, "Piccolo, listen, I don't know about you, but this guy looks like bad news. Everyone could be in danger right now if we don't move him away. How about we call a truce just for now? Just for a few minutes. You can get a free punch in later, I promise." To which the equally panicked on the inside Piccolo would respond, "Fine, but just to be clear, I'm doing this only so I can fight you at your best, Son Goku. Once he's gone, you're next." Huh? He's here! But suddenly, as Goku and Piccolo agree, Yamoshi looks to the sky, suddenly noticing a spike of energy appearing out of nowhere in this strange timeline. Well, this brings back memories. As suddenly, Ultra Vegito finally reappears himself, seemingly not done with Yamoshi, even if in an entirely different timeline and universe. And like some kind of demonic angel, he descends to the ground slowly at first, saying, "Yamoshi, looks like me and you are going to be finishing this tournament. You ready? I'm about to make my big entrance." Before suddenly, down below, Yamoshi notices the God Killer shooting down at speed, as internally, the quite calm member of the Five thinks, "Here, he wants to fight me right here with all these mortals around. This is his planet, isn't it? I thought this guy cared for the lives of others." Before suddenly, as expected, Vegito does land with a crash, but seemingly a controlled one, as the ground remains intact, a shockwave from his power alone, instead pushing both Goku and Piccolo away. sending both of the young warriors crashing into walls behind them, with loud impacts incapacitating them, but definitely keeping them alive as expected from Vegito. Whoa! What have we got going on here? Attention, ladies and gentlemen, 2 new fighters have entered the ring! And in typical fashion, the announcer just yells at what he sees, naively thinking this is all part of the plan. But Yamoshi, having seen enough, jumps from the stage, unaffected by the impact of Vegito's fall. Before in an instant, he's already near the time portal in the sky, aiming to leave now rather than engage in front of the audience. But Vegito, who is slightly disappointed in his retreat, just looks up with an unimpressed closed smirk saying, "Well, would you look at that? To think I was starting to like you, Yamoshi, and now you're running like the cowardly god you are! Come back here! And instantly giving chase, Vegeta would leave behind everyone in the past and shoot off to the portal, chasing after the third. Soon enough vanishing into the alternate dimension, with the portal closing behind him. And as we get a glimpse onto the other side, we see a very strange but mysteriously familiar looking city with a red sun in the background. But the peaceful quiet is disturbed quickly, as explosions are seen rushing all down the cityscape in a straight line. That's what you get for pulling me into these weird timelines, God Killer! As we then finally see what is causing all the damage, and it is of course Vegito and the third fighting across, with Yamoshi landing a right hook right on the face of Vegito. Why you? And the flying backwards uncontrollably Vegito would continue to hurtle through buildings, eventually smashing through the wall of a certain large facility. What is this? Gods! But soon the building area and timeline is revealed, as sitting down positively shocked is King Vegeta in his throne room as... Quickly, 2 of his elite guards step up in front of him to protect him, both watching as the 2 strange warriors duke it out in front until... How dare you 2 fools disturb the king! I'll have your heads! Angrily then rushing to Vegito and Yamoshi until... Soon, their knuckleheads realize the power and caliber of the fighters in front of them, and the 2 immediately stop in their tracks, with the bold one saying, Rubble? I say you go first. To which the other responds, Yeah, right, you're the senior here. But soon the fight carries on into the sky, as Vegito bursts through the ceiling as Yamoshi chases after him with speed. But Vegito, looking back with a smile, would taunt, Yes, that's it, deity! Follow the leader! While Yamoshi would respond, You're so childish, you know that? You're lucky I'm still enjoying this battle. And the 2 reach higher and higher into the sky until they eventually immediately continue their battle, trading and deflecting blows from one another while flying at insane speeds. But totally unexpected, a mysterious Saiyan with a scar on his face and a hairstyle that could be mistaken for Goku's notices the ruckus and turns quickly. What the? And in the sky before him, he witnesses the absolute circus of a battle that is going on between the 2 legendary warriors, fighting all over the skybox. And soon, as he stands paralyzed in shock, his wife would soon approach asking, "Bardock? What's wrong, honey? What are you looking at?" Leaving the stunned Bardock to just mutter out, "Gine! Can't you see them? That power! Could they really be Frieza's men? Quickly, get me Kakarot! We need to send him off now!" But as his father unknowingly watches on, Vegito rushes in maniacally yet again at Yamoshi to try and finish him off. But unfortunately this time, Yamoshi catches his fist right into his palm, grimacing as he does so until... "Get us back to the present, fool!" Screaming with intense anger now, totally incensed by the Godkiller's lack of respect for the laws of time travel. And instantly, as if somehow controlling Vegito's time rings without even wearing them, a new portal opens right in front of a completely taken by surprise Vegito, who can hardly believe his eyes. Good boy, Vegito! And with that, Yamoshi lets go and once again escapes into the time portal, leaving the Godkiller in his dust. How? But the shocking confusion of what had just happened had not left Vegito, as with a stunned face, he continues to try and process why the time rings acted on Yamoshi's command. But as he wonders, Yamoshi has already escaped. You damn god! Turning Vegito's confusion to anger before... In a flash, the Godkiller finally leaves the past also. And as the two finally meet again in the present timeline, once more, their smiles are all gone, as both warriors stare coldly at one another, with Vegito beginning... You will explain how and why my time rings responded to your orders, God. To which Yamoshi would just reply, "To hell would I know, Godkiller. Maybe these tools you've stolen recognize that you're no god, and therefore not worthy to even wield them. It's only natural they would react to the call of a true deity. Next will be that staff of yours too." But soon, Yamoshi would quit the tough talk and fold his arms with a relaxed smile and say, "Regardless of whether you're a thief or not though, what you definitely are is extremely reckless. God help you if you ever meet Cronoa, for she will have your head. But at least you'll go out a true bona fide Saiyan. The kind that reminds me of my past. It's fun when we're this evil." And the smirk is reciprocated on Vegito, but more sinister in tone as Vegito lets out, "A bona fide Saiyan? You speak like you actually know plenty about my people. Yamoshi. A god who actually cares to know what mortals are like? What a joke. You don't seem to be as bad as the other ones I've met so far. But it's just unfortunate that just like them, you will share the same fate. And that's not even the most tragic thing here." Confusing Yamoshi with that last line, as the third would then inquire more. My death not being the most tragic thing? What a strange thing to say, Vegito. But do tell, what is so tragic then, Godkiller? And with a beastly groan, Vegito would then simply say, "What's tragic, Yamoshi, is that this isn't even my final form." One sentence said, a demonic yell from below would roar out of Vegito as his entire body becomes enveloped in a dark purple energy, and black lightning bursts forth and multiplies. And as Vegito's monstrous energy continues right in front of Yomoshi, not even the panel itself anymore can contain his aura. As standing in front with a completely mesmerized expression, the third can hardly believe what he's sensing as he mutters, "Oh, this is what he had in him? Now this is surely something." And as Vegito continues to roar into the heavens, his body begins transforming also. As first, his canines begin to grow ever so slightly, before then his torso becomes engrossed in a rough purple fur, before from his backside, a pointed signature tail then begins to sprout out, until finally, on the chest of the God Killer, a glowing violent purple V crest would imprint once again on the chest of Vegito. As from either side of his face, now both horns also finally become visible once again. And finally, I'm back. As now standing there proudly with his arms flexed, surrounded in sparking black thunder, and a bright, confident smile on his face as he looks to the sky, Vegito has finally returned to his Ultra Demon form. Before eventually he brings his head right down and lets out, "Now, Mr. Third, care to finish what you were saying about us being equal?" "You fool. You were a fun distraction, but you were never anything to me, just like I had said from the start. This power of mine is a mix of countless gods, both Guts, Madara, and even one of those so-called demon emperors you all fear. What else did you expect?" This is your full power?" And left now seemingly completely stunned, only able to mutter a few words at a time it appears, is Yomoshi, eyes wide open and almost trembling until... You're right. Suddenly, Yomoshi's face takes a turn for the worst as all signs of fear or surprise are lost, and with a confident smile, the third would let out, "You're absolutely correct. Turns out, with this little reveal of yours, we aren't as equal as I had first thought at all, Vegito. How unfortunate for you." As instantaneously Yomoshi powers up, turning his hair from black to blonde, his eyes from yellow to green, and completely surrounded now in an iconic yellow aura. In one fell swoop, the third strongest in the multiverse had multiplied his power by 50 times and become a Super Saiyan. What? Completely shell-shocking the God Killer as his earlier cockiness is erased and what is left is complete confusion as he just lets out, You're a Saiyan? There's no way! How? And as Yomoshi in his Super Saiyan state begins to enjoy the fear across the God Killer's face, he would finally let out, "There's no way, you say? So you're not convinced yet? Well, I'll just show you then that I'm not just a Saiyan, Vegito. I am the first and the only true Super Saiyan God!" Before Yomoshi would then grit his teeth spike his hair even higher up, and then launch into an even more insane power-up than what Vegito had just shown, as slowly his yellow aura turns to orange and then turns to red. As he transforms, something similar to how Goku looked transforming into a Super Saiyan 3 begins to occur, as Yamoshi loses his eyebrows and his hair begins to grow out widely. And before now Vegito's face, just as Yamoshi had to experience before him, the third's power shoots off into space itself, dwarfing what the God Killer had done previously. And eventually, the aura and power is so great, everything is lost in a sharp, bright light until... Standing there at the epicenter of the transformation is what looks like an all-new Yamoshi in an all-new form. His hair blood red and far longer, his aura red too, but fiery in nature, and his eyes now eyebrowless and fixated on Vegito. And in this truly divine state, the true first Super Saiyan God would let out, "Behold, young Saiyan, the power of the legendary warrior seen only every 1,000 years in our species. This is the true final form of a Super Saiyan God." Before placing his arms down now in complete calm and frightening nature, declaring, "Now, show me how you will deal with me, now that I am 1,000 times stronger than before."